Morning. Morning, Leanne.
Morning, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm okay.
Hello, Remy. I know, she's so cute.
Oh dear.
Hello, baby girl. Hello, darling.
She's doing a head twist at you.
Oh.
Does Tilly do it a lot? She tilts her head.
Yes, yeah.
Remy does it for everything. Like literally, you'll just talk to her and she'll be like, oh, oh. And it's so cute. I'm just like, why is this? But yeah.
She's
Oh dear.
Don't know why. She's done nothing for 2 days.
Oh.
It was horrible yesterday, wasn't it? Horrid.
It was really bad.
Yeah. Morning, Julie.
Morning.
Yeah. Wilbur got us up, got me up at 5:15 this morning.
Well, I was meant to have my lay-in today, and Dean came back upstairs, and he was like, "Lou, I need you downstairs." And I was like, "What's up?" She was sick in the night, and I was just like, "Oh, great!" So I had to clean all that up.
Oh no!
4 nice piles of sick.
Oh!
I don't believe in nice piles. It was loads of it.
Can you hear
it? Oh, that's lovely first thing in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can't cope with sick either. Like I don't mind poo, I don't mind wee, but sick properly makes me go. So
yeah, I'm there. I usually make David do it. Hi,
Andrea.
Hi. Having a conversation about sick.
Nice. As you do on a Sunday morning.
You know why she was being sick? You know why she was being sick?
No, actually, she can be. She does sometimes. She is sometimes a little bit, but it's not usually that bad. But we have just started transitioning her onto the adult food, but I've been doing it really slowly, and she's been fine the past couple of days with it, so I'm not too sure. Cat poo?
That'd do it. Morning, Jill.
Morning. Having trouble with me buttons.
Which ones?
Velcro always
computer,
works.
I haven't got any here.
I just saw your message, Andrea.
What message? What am I doing now?
Fabulous. On the phone.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. I've been late up.
Yeah. Sunday mornings are the only mornings that I go up a gear. Because I'm going, I haven't got time.
Very quiet.
Maria, Is she?
Sudie's raring to go, as you can see.
Rem's trying to play with me. Remy, what are you doing?
I like my pictures now because I've got different treats.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
But they're all, yeah, everybody's underneath here on the bed. So,
Chish. Oh, wait.
Hello to everybody. You can say good morning.
Oh, bless her.
Hello.
Yes, I know you're here as well, but I can't concentrate on you. No.
Yes, Dodo.
Oh, Jimmy's going. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, God. Archie. No.
Good
Oh,
girl.
no. Poppy, calm down. It's your fault. You're setting her off. Now stop it.
Oh.
Remy.
Ah, give over. Oh,
Oh,
we've
we're
got
all
problems.
starting.
We've got problems here. Oh,
Really? Yeah.
he is just playing, yeah, but I'm worried about the.
all right.
We all sound like we're full of energy.
Oh, Poppy's just diving on the furniture at the minute. Because Archie's winding her up because you can hear him barking probably.
Yeah. Just about over the growling.
Will you two behave? Cleaning her face now.
Andrea, you've got this to look forward to.
Yes. Are you sure you're doing the right thing?
Every day, no. Especially after last night. Sid was an absolute nightmare. Excuse me. And I got cross with her and she hit me, so I feel awful.
Oh dear. Right, you're going to calm down now. Ah, that's it. That's it. We're going to have trouble in here this morning.
Archie.
Hi, Maria.
Listening. Quite connected. There she
Calm
is.
down. Calm down. Calm down.
Hi, Maria.
Good boy.
I can't see Maria.
Well, lie down, Archie.
Right then. Okay.
Where's Jill gone? Oh, you're there. She says, I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's always a good start when you mute yourself, isn't it? Have I got it now? I think I've got it now. That's better. So, I think Andrea was just about to tell us a funny story. Something hilarious happened last night. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. And especially being as you're going to be the person that's going to need the most support soon, aren't you? You've got this new baby on the way. Oh, heavens, what on earth is that? 3 weeks, hang on then. Let's just unmute you. Come on, tell us the story.
3 weeks. No, last night, I don't know what got into her. She was wanting to go out into the garden every 10 minutes, crying. And you daren't not let her out. So you'd let her out. And the garden is a quagmire. It's absolutely, and she just goes straight for it. And of course, it's up her hocks. So you have to bring her in and wash her down every time. And I got really pissed off. and shouted at her and dragged her in, and then she wouldn't come near me. Ew. And I feel awful. I feel really bad. She's all right this morning now. Yeah, and it's 3 weeks to pup day. I need more hair.
Sorry, darling. I muted myself because my lot were all jiffling about as well. And I've just muted you a little bit preemptively, I think. I apologise for that. So, so it turns out that you are, in fact, a human being. And not only a human being, but also a descendant of apes. And we tend to, when we're not coping, when we become frustrated, we get angry. We show it in anger. We don't tend to shut down and go and hide and lick our wounds and think about it. We come out all guns blazing and beat our chests. And yeah, I mean, it's something to be avoided if at all possible, but at the same time, you're not going to be any less human just by the fact that you know more about dog training and you know that you should try not to do that. So you have to be kind to yourself. You have to, and I lose my temper. There's no question. My dogs get shouted at. But if you've got a good enough relationship in between times and it's a one-off, your dogs are going to forgive you as long as it doesn't, you know, get horribly physical and you're not actually beating them. If it's just a bit of shouting. And I know top trainers who will put their hands up and say, look, I shouted at my dogs the other day, and yeah, the dogs are like, oh, something wrong, God, scary person. And I mean, but then they get you back later. She'll get you back later because later on you'll try and tell her off for something that's fairly mild and not tell her off in a horrible way, but try and re-instruct her, and she'll just have a meltdown. She'll go, oh my God, she's doing it again, and she'll put everything down, and you will then feel like the worst parent in the whole wide world. So she will get you back for it, and Dodo does it to me regularly. So yeah, that's where are you? You can unmute yourself. And
yeah, I think you're right. She's there was a touch of PMT in there as well, so that's not a good. It was just really frustrating. She was, oh, I'm in the garden, let's play, let's run through all this mud and shit, and oh my God. And it's like, really, this is the 15th time in an hour, get in. It's like, Jesus. And Harry sat there with his cup of tea. No, I'll do it. You're all right. I do everything. So it's one of those nights. And now she's flat on the floor.
yeah. Oh, well, I think, you know, it's one of them things.
I shall learn.
Don't, yeah, you can't, it's going to happen. You know better, you try to do better, but every now and then.
She'd been doing so well all week with the not pulling on a lead. We'd been really trying with that, and she'd been doing so well. It's just like letting a kid out of school, and she just went, wow, brilliant, let's. Yeah. So I shall be better now.
So, what have I got? A similar story. Twiggy, she went through a phase. It's kind of faded away just now, but she decided she might have another go last night. She went through a phase of every time the chickens who are at the bottom of the garden, if they're a bit restless on a night time, she likes to tell me, and I'm sure there've been a couple of occasions when it has actually been a fox that's been hanging around. And she's probably done me a favor on a couple of occasions. But then it became a habit where they only needed to make a tiny little upset noise, and sometimes they do that, you know, they'll be dreaming or whatever, and they'll make noises in their sleep. And she's woken me up in the middle of the night to have me come downstairs, and then it's like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and she wants to hoon down the garden with her full-on hunting call, which is like, I don't know, the death song of the worst beast in the world. It must wake everybody in the neighborhood up. And Dodo wants to join in with her because, you know, it's super exciting. And there's maybe going, you shouldn't be doing that. So, of course, she's trying to grab hold of everybody on the way down the garden. And there's me, not very much clothing, not wanting to chase down the garden after them, yelling at them. So I'm like, God, what must the neighbours think? And if they, and I don't know if anybody locally knows that I'm supposed to be a dog trainer, but if they do, they'll all be laughing up the sleeves, you know. It's like, oh, it's that fucking woman again. So, yeah, that's taken a few different ways of getting around it. And they are starting to realise that it's not an appropriate behaviour. But yeah, last night she had another bash at it. She went, oof, and Dodo went, yeah, it's on. And everybody was ready to go. And I'm like, no, get in. So crazy dogs, horrible dogs. But yeah, I know. I've got no idea what we're going to do today because you lot are so clever. You're so good. If we were to go back round and practice some of the stuff that in theory we should know, then today would be target training and send away to your bed and stays. Now, would those still be something that you think would be worth practicing for everybody? Or do you feel like you're all super great at those and that's just going to be a waste of time? Go on, give us a vote. We'll ask Jill. Go on, Jill. Tell us what you think.
Poppy can do the target training quite well, but go to your beds, no chance. She doesn't go to her bed at all. She doesn't really have one, you see, because she likes to be on the sofa with us. And she just has her bed in a crate at night time and feeding time, and that's it. So go to your bed just doesn't enter into Poppy's life at all, I'm afraid. Probably our fault, being too soft with her, I think.
Okay, so bed doesn't necessarily have to be a bed as such. You can be crate training, go to your crate. Sorry, Judith, go on then. Oh, you think you have to press a button?
Yeah, same with Tilly. She doesn't have a bed. In fact, the computer's on a puff, which is where I usually tell her to go to if the postman's at the door. So, you know, that's where she goes to sit on that. But she doesn't have a bed. We bought them, she's eaten them, and gave up. She prefers the floor.
What about target training in general, being able to send her to a particular spot? So a bit more like the film dogs, if you like, the dogs who go to target, the dog that leads the person to the well to tell them that Jimmy fell down. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be to a bed. Target training can be anything. So we might have a little bit of fun and have a go at teaching them to close the door, for example, which is a target training little game. Okay, anyone else votes on? So I'm thinking we have some fun and train close the door. Are you able to set your cameras up so you've got a cupboard door or it doesn't matter, but have a think, because the first bit doesn't involve a door. What it does involve is having a something that you can hold in your hand. Doesn't matter, these are post-it notes because dog trainers just have thousands and thousands of post-it notes, but it can be a cup holder. Oh, I've got these things. These are fridge magnets. Don't laugh too much. I made some fridge magnets for my mum. I haven't given them to her yet. They're kind of individual fridge magnets that you can peel off and stick on your fridge, but they're all pictures of me in different guises. But anything that's kind of easy to hold in your hand, we're going to start with that as a target. And all we're going to do, if I put me on speaker view, is we're going to pick a dog. Which dog should we have? The one that's volunteered is this one. Let's bring you down there. Oopsies. Oopsies, there's a mug in the way and everything. Get off. Okay, so present, yes. And then move that where they can see it. Get your reward. Target's gone away. Okay. Present, mark, and reach to reward. So we're going to do 4 separate moves. It's out of the way. Present it, yes, mark it when they look at it or touch it, move to get your reward and deliver that reward. Yeah, so yes. So I want them to be very separate kind of actions, very separate doings. Yes. So my reward hand's gone back to a resting place, so it's not flapping about. My target's gone back to a resting place, so it's not flapping about. And I'm ready to reset, and I go, yes. Does that make sense? So the skill here is your skill in keeping those 4 separate bits as individual bits. Get off, please. Get off. Get off. Okay. Now we want it, if possible, to be a separate target, because when we start using it for the door, we're not going to be able to leave our hand there anymore. So if you've got something you can hold in your hand so they can target that thing specifically, rather than just using your hand as a target. So to begin with, they might just look at it and be a bit reluctant to move all the way to it, and that's fine. You can mark just looking at it. And then the next stage would be to wait until they moved a bit closer. Next stage would be if they actually touched it. And once they're really smooth at touching it, every time you present it, then we can move on to the next stage. And I think you're all there, aren't you? I think they've all got that. So here's my door. Just get rid of some dogs. Where's that? Are you staying there or are you going to come out? Twiggy says, I stay under the bed. Honest, I will. Honest, I will. I won't do nothing. You watch her get up in a minute as soon as I start needing a not to. So now, can you see where I've put my food? You can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to present target right next, yes, right next to the closed door. And what I'm looking for with this one is I'm looking for pressure. My door's not a perfect fit. So even though it's closed, if he presses on it with his nose, it makes kind of a clunky noise. So that kind of gives me a good thing that I can mark. I can mark that pressure of the nose, because I think because I'm aiming at him pushing the door closed with his nose, I want pressure. You ready? Yes. Again, come outside. Wait. Okay, if it doesn't go for it, target goes away straight away. I'm not going to have it hanging about. Present it again. Yes. Don't. Yes. Now with him, he's very much a feety person. And I made a mistake then. I held it just a little bit too high, which meant that he had to put his feet up onto the door. I want to definitely avoid that. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I'm putting him in the right position to make the correct choice. So I need to really be careful this time that I don't hold that target too high. All right, so I'm going to bring it back down here. Yes. Because I don't want to be marking him for feet touching the door too often, otherwise I'm going to get stuck with that. So that's your next stage. Yeah, if you're still at stage 1, if your dog's still not sure about touching the target, then, you know, first of all, you can just reward looking at it. Again, you can reward any pressure, but the aim is to get them up to really pushing on that door. Get off, get off, get off. Thank you. Any questions? Anybody worried about it? Easier when you're working with one dog. Jill? You got... That's it. So one push will do for now, Judith. I know that she's really, really good, but we don't want her learning push, push, push. We want her to learn to put pressure on and keep that moving. So one push is all we need. She says, yes, nice. I know. So you've actually, Judith, you've taken it a stage further because we weren't going to do it open yet because that was our next stage, but that's beautifully done. And if your dog's up to it, which she clearly could be, the trouble is if they're not really, really confident with pushing it and then it moves away from them, that can put them off. So the next stage is to teach them that making it move is the plan. That's the plan. But what we're going to do before we get there is we're going to have them understand I can touch it even when it's not in your hand. Okay, so we're going to keep the door closed so it doesn't scare them when it moves. We're going to take our target and fix it to the door, and this is where post-it notes really come into their own because they're a little bit sticky. Yes. So you don't know if you can see my post-it note, but it's stuck on the door. Yes. So the door's closed because I don't want it to scare them at this stage. I want them to be dead confident about touching it. You go in your bed, please. Thank you. Dodo. Here. Can you push it? Yes. Oh, feet. Feet. I got feet. I don't want to get feet. Yeah? Go in your bed. Dodo. Right. You go out. Thank you. Now. Yes. And when you take a break, remember, take that target away. Don't leave it there because we don't want the dog practicing touching it and getting no reinforcement for it. That's going to mess up our training. Oh yeah, go on then, ask me.
I was using a coaster, I didn't realise. Is it okay to swap the mark?
You can stick and tape it on, or you can swap your marker. It's easy enough to do if you've got a target savvy dog.
Yeah, because it was like a super heavy.
Don't we?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah?
super heavy thing. So I'll swap it. Thank you.
Okay, if your dog's super confident about touching that target without you having to be there, there's two things we need to get rid of. Well, we need to introduce, first of all, the idea that that is going to move slightly when they push it. So we open that a tiny bit. So it's not going to, hello, you're just cleaning me. Open it a tiny bit. So it's going to make a noise when they push it. And be really, really good with your marker word and your reward so it doesn't break their confidence, the fact that there's going to be a noise there. Okay. The next thing we're going to do, and you can sometimes sneak it in at the same time, is reduce the amount of energy we put into getting them to do it. Let them think more. So less direction, less pointing, less verbal. Let them see if they can figure it out for themselves. Yeah, David? Yes. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Oh, I think I'm going to end up stuck with feet with Dodo because he's a very footsie person. You ready? Yes. Especially if I keep accidentally marking him when he uses his foot instead of his nose. Okay, here we go. Yes. Oh, it doesn't help. It doesn't help, does it? Right, come on out. Out. Go. Maybe. No. Twiggy, go. Put them the other side of the stair gate. Okay. Touch. Come here. You're all excited now, are you? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, two things going on for me with Dodo. He would prefer to touch it with his feet, and also he's being quite gentle with his nose. So I would have to spend some time really building his confidence up to push quite hard with his nose to get the latch to actually slip over. Cupboard doors are easier, obviously, because they're smaller, they're lighter, the catch tends to catch much more easily. So let's have a, Judith is has got a little doggy expert. Is she a little bit stuck at the minute? Whoa, impressive. Okay, so tell me how you think you got on with that. What stage are you at? So we'll go with Judith first, because obviously she's just, as usual, complete show off. You got your mute button. Can you see it?
That's it. Sorry, the sun's shining. I'm really surprised at how quickly she's got that. In fact, I need to take that off because she's pushing it like mad to do it. But yeah, she's really got that. And I've noticed, because we were playing ball when we started from last week's, you know, the drop, and she was actually throwing the ball at me to say, come on, I want to play now. So she's really picking things up quite quickly at the moment. So yeah, that was really good. Thank you.
It's fun, I think, as well, is the thing. Go on then, tell us, Leanne, how far did you get?
She was able to shut the door, which I'm quite happy with. So yeah, so I only opened it like that much about, and then she was able to shut it. So yeah, but we've got the same kind of door as you, like as we're meant to have a proper latch on them, and I haven't got them at the minute. I'm cleaning them up, so it's not shutting properly. So yeah, so it's just floppy.
Oh, Sid and Andrea, how did you get on?
She's really suspicious. She'll do the touch on the whatever I'm doing. She'll do that fine. If I move it to the door, she's like, what are you doing? I don't like this. She's a really suspicious dog. I think we're trying to do too big a door to start with. I think we should have started on a smaller door. But she doesn't like the door shutting anyway. So she's a weirdo.
So we put more stages in, don't we, for her? If we've got a confidence issue, we could keep it in the hand and take it closer to the thing that we wanted to push on until the hand and the target are together on the thing, and you could keep the hand for a bit and increase pressure and tension, and then stick it to, but keep the hand near it. Yeah. So that we can have, I'm there to support you, you can still do it, but as much as possible with somebody like she is, with that lack of confidence, let her figure it out, give her that space to really take the stages little bit by little bit, and she will get there. You know, she's always going to have that kind of, she's a glass half full kind of a person. Things are definitely going to go wrong. That's just the way she is. I'm hoping your puppy's a super friendly, forward puppy who's going to just go, nah, we don't need to worry about that. Let's just go. And then she'll start getting jealous and trying to copy. All right, then, Jill, how did you get on?
She's good when it's in my hand, on my hand. She does it every time. She could do it on the door, though sometimes she was a bit hit and miss. She did it once when the door was open, but after a while she was getting a bit fed up and she was just going into the down position and just thinking, right, I've gone into the down position, give me a treat. But obviously that's not what I was asking her for. But having Archie here, I don't think helps her, because he's a bit of a distraction. And if we put him out, he'll scratch at the door something rotten to get back in. So I think with Poppy, that's going to be a work in progress. But I might try a different door, like a crate door or something like that, rather than that door, which is a bit heavier and tends to reach a point. And if she touches it, it really is going to slam. So I think I'll try her on a different door, but we'll get there, because she is quite intelligent. So when she's in the right mood, I think we'll be able to do it, won't we? We'll practice, won't we? Yes.
Teaching them, especially the really intelligent ones, teaching them anything new, it really does work their brain. I think the trouble with the really intelligent ones, and I think Sid falls into this category, is that if they get it wrong, they overthink it. So we have to be really, really careful to set it up so it's so easy that the jumps from one stage to the next are so tiny that they're more likely to get it right. And they put themselves off, you know, they'll go, oh, well, I thought it was this and it wasn't this, and now I don't know what to do. And I'm just going, oh, I'll offer a behavior that usually pays. So I'll offer the down, and, you know, they'll stop trying. So Maria, how did you get on?
Yeah, that was Missy. She was offering everything but what I wanted her to do. So yeah, it is going to be a work in progress with us as well. She's fine just touching the beer mat when it's in my hand, and she did it a couple of times on the door, but then it's like, well, I've done that, like you say, and I'll sit and I'll go down and trying to get the reward for what she thinks we want her to do. So yeah, it's the same thing.
Teaching them to touch an object that isn't connected to your hand, because obviously we've done a lot of hand targeting and I love hand targeting, but teaching them to touch a different object, it's a slightly different thing in their mind. It's easier, isn't it, to touch something that's moving than to touch something that's still. Or, you know, it's easy for me to imagine that it's difficult for the dog to understand if it's still do the same kind of behavior. So what I really like is if you can use for target training an object that gives the dog instant feedback, so that we're kind of taking out us having to be so perfect with our timing. So what I bought for that, to help the idea of go and target something, I got a butler's bell. Yeah. So if the dog gets the target right, but this is only really useful from my dog's point of view for teaching poor targets, which when you've got somebody like a dodo who, you know, he wants to target and maybe is just as bad, she likes to use her feet as well, you're not going to be able to use something like that for a nose target. So you kind of have to start getting a bit clever and thinking, what can I use? But if you've got, and I know somebody in this group, and it might be that it's gone, had one of those little talkie, oh, I think it was Sammy, had a little talkie button, so that each time the dog pressed it, it made a word, which you could pre-program. And I'm thinking about buying those. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube videos, the dogs that talk to their owners. I'm not completely convinced. Yeah, there we go. So we'll get you to do a demonstration of that in a minute. Is she already decided that she understands, do you think, that when she presses that button, it means go out into the garden? You think she has put 2 and 2 together? I'm not convinced with some of the videos on YouTube that the dogs actually know what they're saying. I think they're still stuck trying things and the owner's interpreting it a bit too soon that the dog actually understands. I'm not saying that they can't, but I'd like to do it myself. I'd like to test it myself. So I want to, at some point, buy some of those buttons and have a go at that. But poor targeting, as I say, with something like the butler's bell or the button, that's really easy. I find nose targeting onto a different object, you have to put in more individual stages to get yourself to the same place. It's more natural, I think, for the dog to paw at new things than it is for them to bonk them with their nose. Okay, so whatever stage you were winning at. So how do we know? I'm a bit of a, I'll do it 3 times. If the dog's done whatever was in my mind at that stage 3 times and got rewarded 3 times, then I'm going to up my criteria. I'm going to think to myself, right, I'm going to try them at the next stage. The difficulty with that is if you make your jumps from one criteria to the next so big that the dog can't put 2 and 2 together and they're standing there not getting any reinforcement, that's going to put them off. It's going to make them want to wander away and give up. Okay, so if they get 3 right in a row, do try and ask for a tiny bit more, but be very, very careful. If your dog doesn't get it right within 2 or 3 seconds, that criteria, whatever you've chosen, is too much of a jump from wherever you were before. So with that in mind, I want you to have a go from wherever you think your dog was confident. I want you to see if you can get to the stage wherever you think you can push it to. I'm going to give you like 3 minutes. It should give you the opportunity to give at least 20 to 30 treats, shouldn't it? if not more, depending on your treat rate. All right, give it a go. I'm going to see how far I can get with Dodo. Around here, you can see. He's going on. Ready? Yes. 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 Good boy. Come here. Tilly. Leave it. Okay, thank you. Okay, it looks brilliant. So I can see Remy's got it. And I can see Sid's doing much better. Like you say, she needs your confidence of your hand being there, and that's fine. That doesn't mean you're not going to get there. It just means that for her, you need to put smaller stages in. And I can see, Jill, you've definitely got it. She's definitely understanding this is what you want. And Maria, she's not sure, is she? She's not sure, that's fine. So you stay beautiful, beautiful. And sometimes it is a case of us waiting and letting them think it through, but it's keeping that reward rate high enough that the dog believes that they're getting it right. Now, Dodo fell apart. Dodo did the, oh, I don't know what you want, you know, I'm going to go and lay on the bed and whatever. And I think the other thing to be aware of is try and stop at the point at which they're really winning. Don't keep going and going and going until they fizzle out and it becomes too difficult for them. Finish on a win. Finish when they're having a good time. And then when you come back later, once they've had a bit of a sleep and the brain has had a chance to consolidate that information and it's been processed, what you'll actually find is you'll make a bigger leap into the next part of your training. Yeah, so pushing doesn't really work at all. Having a few small wins in a row, going away, having a do something else, have a bit of a sleep, we're the same. If you think about it, if you're in the middle of trying to figure out a puzzle, sitting there and continuing to push at it and push it, but you don't get it, it just doesn't. Walk away, you come back, you can do it almost straight away. And that's just because of the way that the brain works. Okay, so I think that was, kisses. I think that was lovely. Now, the only one at the moment that I can see, and I can't hear what you're saying, but from looking at the video, Judith and Tilly, you're ready to add a cue. You know, you're ready to give that a name. You know, so you can call it whatever you like, something along the lines of shut it or close it or push it, or you decide. All right. So the flip side of that would be to teach them to open doors, wouldn't it? Shall we have a look at that? I'll show you where to start. Yeah, look at Tilly, look at Judy's face. No, we don't want our dogs learning to open doors. It's quite good though, sometimes, not always. It's quite good sometimes. What you need, and I haven't got one to hand, I don't know if this one will fit, is something that the dog can pull on and something that you can fasten it to the door with. Okay, so at the minute, this is looking after my clicker. But if you've got something you can do that with. And the first thing you do is teach your dog to pull on it. So that's just a tug game, getting them to be confident to pull, and you're going to mark for the pull. So your target point, your your clicker point, I guess, is when you feel that there is a tiny bit of tension. And you're going to mark and reward that. I've got a frog. I've got a really big frog. Right, so let's see with Dodo whether or not we can get him to open his mouth onto it. So at the minute, he's thinking about food. Going to get rid of the food. That's it. We've got a really nice nose touch because that's what we've been rewarding, haven't we? So, going to wind him up a little bit. Yes. And I'm going to, my first point is going to be getting him confident to put his mouth around it. Yes. Yes, I'm fiddling with the food. Bad dog trainer. And I'm trying to get a tiny little tug. So the reason I didn't mark him for putting his mouth round on that last occasion was I wanted him to get hold of it and tug it a little bit. He says food, 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 food. Yes. Yes. All right. So it's going to take me a while to build him up to the point where I would then go to the next stage, which is fastening it to the door, but still inviting a tug game with it. Then when I would back off slightly and pretend I was going to reach towards it and hope that the dog might preempt that move and take hold of it themselves before my hand went to it. That would be my next stage. Then I would be looking for marking any pulling at all, even a tiny tug. Then I would be having the door so that the latch wasn't secure to begin with. So that, and if it's a cupboard door, that's easy because they're not secured. But start marking for when the door moves, when that action actually causes the door to move. If it's a door like mine where they have to pull the handle down, then you need to secure your tug object to the end of the handle so that when they tug, that latch releases. Does that make sense? But cupboard door's easier because obviously it doesn't have a secure. So that's just a little game you can have a think about. And I know a lot of people are reluctant to teach the dogs to open doors, but if you think about it, your dog can discriminate. When that tug object is on that door, then I can open it. They're not necessarily then going to transfer that information to grab the handle of the door and pull the door. So it's not that you're teaching your dog to open doors, you're teaching your dog to tug on an object that's secured to a door. Does that make sense? So go on then. Jill, Maria's laughing. What are you going to talk to me? Tell me what's in your mind, Maria.
But on the hand,
Oh, we're losing you, I think. Yeah, I think her connection's gone dodgy. She's gone all still. All right, anybody else thoughts on that? Is it going to be, I'm definitely not going nowhere near that. I'm definitely not teaching my dog that. You don't think so? You are. You like it. So Judith is, because she likes just teaching stuff, I think. Yeah, and fair enough. And it's good fun. And Jill reckons she'll have a bash at it. Do you think Sid would find it easier than the pushing? That's
I don't know, to be honest. Stop it. She's being a loon at the minute.
And Leanne's ready to do as a demo. Look, Leanne's
All
ready
right.
to do. She's got a tug toy and everything. Come on, let's have Judith's good. Let's get her to have a go at it, and we'll get Leanne going. She's already got a tug toy in her hand. And if you want to have a bash, have a bash. But the first thing, confidence in your hand to be able to tug that object and then transfer the object onto the door with the hand. So the hand's still there to play the tug game. And next stage is see if they'll go for that tug before your hand gets to it. And the next stage is see if they can pull to actually move the door. Hi, Maria.
sorry, my internet went off.
They're having a go. They're having a go. They're going to see what stage they can get to. So if you wanted to join,
What are we doing?
So first stage, get the dog confident to grab hold and hold that toy with you. So putting that, yeah. If you've got that stage and your dog's happy then to pull on it while you're holding it, then you're ready to secure it to the chosen door. You're going to keep your hand on it to begin with while it's fastened to the door. Then we're going to fade that hand away and hope that the dog learns pull on that object in order to move the door. Yeah, but we need to do as many tiny stages in that as we need for each individual dog. So Tilly's got a nice pull already. Remy's not sure. She's doing what Dodo did. She's like, do you want me to hold it or don't you want me to hold it? What do you want me to do? Oh my God. So you're getting a little pull. Beautiful. Judith's going straight in there. She says, I can do this. Maria's got a really nice pull. So it's tension, obviously, it's the action of physically pulling against you that we want, because then when we transfer that idea onto the door, because they steal it. Maria's, she's run off with it. Okay, if you think you've got a good tug and a bit of tension, then you can try fastening it to your door. But remember, to begin with, we still want it to be a game. They're tugging with you, they're not tugging with the door to begin with. So this can help if the object that you're using is a bit longer, so that you've got a bit of loose that you can hold on to it with the dog at the same time while it's secured to the door. And you can buy fancy ropes with clips on the other end, which has a little ball thing on the end, so it's easier for the dog to get hold of, which they use when they're training the assistance dogs. But I don't think it has to be anything fancy if you're just doing it for fun, for a little game to play together. Is that a slipper, Andrea? So your camera angle, Leanne, we can't quite see, and it looks like she might be doing really well. Yes, nice tug. Yeah, nice. I like it. She's starting to move the door as well. Yeah, beautiful. Come on, Judith. Leanne's winning.
We just had somebody at the gate, so she's really distracted.
Anybody else jealous of the people that have got cockapoos right now? There's no wonder they're one of the main breeds that are used for assistance training, is there? Look at them. Clever beasties. Beautifully portable sized dog that can do lots and lots of different jobs. I think Sid's taken that comment a bit personally, look. She says he bites you. Just play tug with your hand. Imagine when we first met Andrea, if she'd have been like that, you'd have just been convinced she'd be was an aggressive, horrible dog, wouldn't you? You'd have thought, oh my God, my dog bites me all the time and she barks at me, she's horrible.
If you see her playing with Harry, she's really not vicious, because she does bite a little bit too hard when she gets really excited, but she plays harder with him than she does with me. She doesn't play as hard. We're just worried that she's going to play really hard with a pup.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll cope with it. We'll deal with it when it comes up. You know what you're like. You set yourself up all these fears and anxieties, and let's see what it's like. First of all, I think the thing is, to begin with, you're not going to leave them alone. Your pup's going to have their own separate area. You're only ever going to have them interacting when you're there to supervise. And we'll take it stage by stage. Not worry about it.
Today we're going to pick the puppy. That's a secret. We have to go. Yeah. Because obviously we're not meant to be there, but you can't just turn up on the day and be handed a puppy. You have to have a bit of.
You see, you can share photos with us though, can't we?
Okay, I will. But so there's 2 boys. What sort of pup am I looking for, do you think? A really confident one, or one that's just a quieter one?
So here's the thing, just mute. You cannot tell what the set personality is going to be when you look at a litter. I know there's a lot of sort of studies and literatures and anecdotal evidence showing that you can, but actually now recent studies have shown that you can't. You haven't got set personality. As what you're looking for personality wise is the parents and the environment. Yeah. So if they're genetically sound and they've had a decent environment with enrichment and exposure to lots of different things in a low stress kind of situation, then any of the pups is probably going to be good. Then I'm going to be looking at medically. Are they medically sound? Is there any signs of illness or disease? You know, if there were, and you can get, just like with humans, you can get dogs that are born neurologically damaged, the same as we are. If you've got a puppy who is obviously different, obviously nervous, obviously sitting in the corner and not getting involved and doesn't improve as you're staying there, doesn't eventually come and investigate, then I wouldn't want to be going near that puppy. Yeah. If you've got somebody that's super confident and you're seeing that they're already practicing behaviors that are not going to fit very well into your lifestyle. So if you've got somebody that is, you know, super boisterous and the one that's always doing all of the biting, and or you see them toy guarding or whatever, then perhaps for your particular, but you know, to me that wouldn't be a problem, but it has to be what you see in that puppy. Yeah. And I think the thing is, in the end, if it's love, it's love. If you see one and you just go that, and more importantly, to a degree, if the puppy chooses you, you know. So again, it's a kind of go with the flow thing. I think you've already chosen a good breeder. You've already done all of that homework. Now you just need to kind of sit in the space and watch them and see if any of them pick you as their person.
That's what we're doing today. We're just going to sit for an hour in the room with the pups and just watch them and see which one flicks a switch with us, I suppose. But I will blame Harry for picking Sid. He picked her. She's a nightmare. She was, I have to say, when we first brought her to dog training, to socialization, she'd gone a long time without other socialization with dogs, and we didn't realize she could come at 8 weeks, was it, or first jab. We didn't know that. The vet told us the opposite. And I think she lost her confidence a lot in those 4 weeks, because she was a really bouncy, confident dog when she was at the breeders. And then she came to our house and we'd got an elderly chap, bless him, that didn't particularly want to interact a lot. Although these things are popping up on our newsfeed now, and it shows us that they did interact a lot more than we thought. Stop it. So I don't think we'll get that, obviously, because hopefully they'll interact all right together, although it will be supervised, definitely. Well, I'll show you the pictures today.
Anyway, so I have to leave because I've got another thing going on, but I can, if you want, I can leave this Zoom chat open by transferring it to one of you. That's up to you. If you just want to stay and have a chat, you're welcome to continue to use it because I don't think Dawn needs it.
I've got to
that-
leave, sorry.
Go anyway. So, anyone want to take it on and want to?
We're taking Missy for a walk now, so we won't be staying.
Okay, so that's Jill and
Making the
Tilly.
most of the sunshine. After
All right.
yesterday.
Well, if you definitely want to leave, give me a wave and then I'll know that I'm not cutting anyone off. All right, so we'll see you again next week. Have fun. Send me videos. I want to see your dogs opening and closing doors, you know, and anything really, anything you think that you're dead proud of that your dog can do, because I think we don't do enough of that, do we? Bigging ourselves up. We do a lot of, my dog's a pain in the backside and whatever, and you know, and I think the only way you can really make yourself excited about training is by proving to yourself that you're doing it and that your dog's good at it and you can get on with it. So share them. Let's have some boasting videos, please. Thank you very much. See you later.